Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to make an optional quote line in Revenue Cloud. So if you're like me, you're coming from CPQ, where you could easily check an optional checkbox on the quote line, which would make your quote line not contribute to the quote total and not move on to the order. Well, as you may already know, there is no standard way, at least at this point, to do this within Revenue Cloud. So today I'm going to be walking through a custom solution that we built out for a client to make quote lines not move over to the order. One thing to note is that this does not include making that quote line not contribute to the quote total, but I will show you how to make it so that these quote lines will not move on to the order when you order the quote. So as I mentioned, CPQ is not the same as Revenue Cloud. There is not complete feature parity there, at least at this time. So you will need a custom workaround in order to make it so that quote lines do not move over to the order. So let's jump in. Today I'm going to walk through creating a custom checkbox on the quote line, creating a custom formula checkbox on the order product, an async flow that will actually remove those optional products. And then I'll show how to handle some errors that may pop up with this. First, on the quote line item object, we have the optional checkbox that you'll need to make. So this checkbox is just a normal checkbox. This will be the same concept as the optional checkbox in CPQ, if you're familiar with CPQ, where we can add this to the quote line editor, I'll say, where you see the quote line items on your quote page. It's called the transaction line editor, and you can add fields to this, and you can add the optional checkbox as it shows here to that field set, which will make it show up in the lines when you see it on a quote. This allows you to check which quote lines you want to be optional and not go onto the order. The next thing you'll need to do is make a way to get that information onto the order product. And you can do this by making an optional formula field checkbox on the order product. You don't actually need to use context definition to map the quote line value to the order product. Since there is a lookup on the order product, you can use that and use just a normal formula field to be able to grab that value. Next, you're going to need to create a flow on the order product object that's going to run when a record is created and has that field that you just created set to true. So this is that order product field saying that it's optional, set to true. The flow is only going to run for those records. What it's then going to do is delete those records. So we have a delete records element that's going to delete that quote line. When your flow deletes that order product, you may see an error like this on your order saying that you need to refresh prices. This will keep you from being able to activate your order. And you may see an error up at the top saying that you can't proceed with an invalid validation result on the order. Basically, what's happening here is there's a field called validation result on the order, which Revenue Cloud will populate if it thinks there's any sort of error happening. Since there's no error happening, we're just deleting an order product. What we'll have to do is add another element to our flow for updating records, and we'll update the order in the validation result field to have an empty string. This will just clear out that field and allow you to activate the order. And that's it. With this custom setup, you'll be able to add optional quote lines to your quote and make them not go over to your order. Thanks for watching.